Everyone, we're going to be looking at Parshas Emor, a famous pasuk in Parshas Emor, the pasuk of Kiddush Hashem. In Perek Chav Beis pasuk Lamed Beis, the pasuk tells us, "Velo sechalu Hashem kodshi v'niktashti besoch b'nei Yisrael." First half of the pasuk, "Velo sechalu," you should not make my name chilul, you should not make it profane, you should not desecrate my name, says Hashem. Shem kodshi, my holy name. V'niktashti, the second half of the pasuk, and you shall sanctify me amongst the Jewish people. Rashi tells us over here on that pasuk, why does it say velo sechalu? Lavora al dvarai mezidin. Do not just go blatantly violate what I tell you to do. If the Torah gives you commands, don't blatantly violate it. That's called a chil Hashem. If a person blatantly is violating a mitzvah, that's a chil Hashem. Unfortunately, we're faced with many who blatantly do this, and we just assume it to be normal. But in fact, this is part of what chil Hashem is. But says Rashi, by the fact that it says lo sechalu, it already tells me don't desecrate Hashem's name. I would assume the obvious, which is I should sanctify it. So why do you have to tell me matam alom v'nikdashti? Why do you have to tell me v'nikdashti? Sanctify it? Of course I can't violate it. So what is the whole purpose of telling me to sanctify? It says Rashi, masar atzmecha v'kadesh shemi. You have to give over yourself and sanctify my name. There's an active, a proactive approach of Kiddush Hashem that a person must take upon themselves. The Rambam writes in Hilchos Yisodei Torah, Perek Hey, in Perek Hey Aleph, Kol Beis Yisrael Mitzumin al Kiddush Hashem Hagadol, all of the Jewish people, unique mitzvah, the Rambam writes specifically to all the Jewish people, that everyone is mitzvah, they're commanded to sanctify Hashem's name, Shenemar, and the Rambam quotes this pasuk, V'niktashti b'soch b'nei Yisrael. So it's a very important pasuk that we have. That's not just simply a pasuk of theory, it's a pasuk of action as well. The Rambam, a little bit later on, in Halacha Yud, tells us, Kol ha'over midaito b'la'ones, or achz mikol ha'amuras b'torah b'shat nefesh l'hachis ha'reiz mechalos Hashem. Anyone who willingly goes and does these things, does these averos that they're not supposed to do, it's considered chil Hashem. And then the Rambam continues, we'll skip a little bit, the Rambam says, V'chein, kol ha'poresh, me avera, anyone who separates from a sin. Oh, asa mitzvah, or they did a mitzvah, but why? Lo mipnei davar ba'olam lo pachad, davar ba'olam lo pachad lo yir lo levakish kavod. He didn't do it because some other external reason that's forcing him to do it, or some fear, or something else that's happening, and he doesn't do it because he wants kavod, because he's doing the mitzvah. Why is he doing it, or why is he holding back from the sin? El mipnei habore baruch hu, he's doing it for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kimini as Yosef HaTzadik Atzmo Me'eshes Rabbah, like Yosef held himself back from Me'eshes Potifar. Says the Rambam, Harei zeh mekadesh es Hashem. This is what Kiddush Hashem is. When you do a mitzvah, for what purpose? For the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ultimately, that is considered the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. The Nesiva Shalom on this point mentions over here, when the Rambam says this idea, Harei zeh mekadesh Hashem, Lo rak mitzvos averos. Not only is this not with mitzvos and averos, who ella kol chayav shel Yehudi. It's the entire life of a Jew. Heimim mechamer retzufa keneged koach hara. It's the battle that we have against koach hara. Just share with you a quick story. About a number of years ago, maybe about 4 years ago, a neighbor came to me and said, "I want you to be able to do the funeral for my mother." Okay, fine. I hadn't met the person before, but this is what he said. So I had come over to his house, and his mother hadn't passed away yet, and we were talking, and the man was not religious at all. I met the man once before in life, and he said, "I want to tell you why I chose you, and I'd like you to do the funeral for my mother when the time comes." He says, because every morning on Saturday when I get up to walk my dog, I see your family walking to synagogue. And when I see them walking to synagogue, I look at the way they're walking there, and they said, wow, those are kings and queens and princes walking to synagogue. That's royalty walking there. That's the type of family or the rabbi that I want to be able to form the funeral for my mother. That, my friends, is a Kiddush Hashem. My family was not intending to look for who can do what, who can be out there to look at us, but in fact, they're dressing a certain way, walking to Shul on Shabbos for the sake of a Kiddush Hashem. And here, that was the Kiddush Hashem befall. This is what we saw, and therefore he said, I want you to be able to do that funeral for my mother. This is Harei zeh mekadesh es Hashem, when a person is doing it for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Have a great Shabbos, and be Mekadesh Es Hashem.